Press presents from the Blueford series of books, The Gun. Written by Paul Langan and read by Jamil Gaines.
Chapter 1. Man, I hate this place, Tyree Hobbs thought as he walked slowly towards Blueford High School. The motion from each step sent a dull jab of pain into his left wrist, making him wince slightly. Just outside Blueford's thick steel front doors, Tyree adjusted his jacket, careful to conceal the bone-colored cast which now encased his left hand. The pain and cast were constant reminders of the humiliation he suffered 4 days ago. Until then, Tyree had been the most notorious bully in Blueford's freshman class. 6 feet tall and muscular, he could clear a path in a crowd just by showing up. In middle school, Tyree had learned to use his size to intimidate people he didn't like. Sometimes, he impressed his friends by forcing smaller boys to give him money or do his homework. Other times, he threatened kids for fun. At Blueford, Tyree's reputation continued to grow, and then Daryl Mercer came along. The first time they met, Tyree thought Daryl was the perfect target, a scrawny, weak kid who transferred to Blueford in the middle of the school year. Having just moved from Philadelphia days earlier, Daryl didn't know a soul in California, and he was scared. A punching bag with legs, Tyree thought. He had recognized the fear in Daryl's eyes from day one. After a bit of pressure, Daryl was giving Tyree his lunch money each week in hopes of being left alone. It was some of the easiest money Tyree had ever made. But 4 days ago, everything changed. The incident replayed in his mind like a scene from an old movie. It happened at lunchtime in the crowded school cafeteria. Tyree was hassling Daryl for skipping his weekly payment. To embarrass him, Tyree tipped Daryl's lunch tray, spilling food all over the smaller boy's clothes. The trick worked. Kids throughout the cafeteria howled at Daryl's mess. Then, Daryl did something he had never done before. He stood up to Tyree in front of everyone. "Tyree, you ain't nothing but a bully," Daryl called out. "No one in this school likes you. They're just afraid of you. But you know what? I ain't afraid of you no more. You don't scare me." He then demanded that Tyree apologize and clean up the mess. Tyree was shocked at the smaller boy's bold words. It was true that Daryl had started acting more confident, especially since he befriended Mr. Mitchell, their nosy English teacher, and joined the Blueford wrestling team. But Daryl was still a coward. Tyree never expected him to stand up for himself. Careful not to show his surprise, Tyree stepped over to beat Daryl into a pulp right there in front of everyone. But Daryl was fast. The next thing Tyree knew, Daryl had swept underneath him, lifted him up, and sent him crashing onto the hard floor of the cafeteria. Tyree tried to cushion the fall with his left arm, but the impact cracked his wrist bone with a loud, wet snap. He could not believe the amount of pain he felt. A non-stop knifing ache mingled with the sensation that the inside of his wrist was on fire. Worse than the pain was seeing that kids who once feared him were laughing. Some even cheered.
To find out what happened to the bully, Daryl, after someone finally stood up to him, find a copy of The Gun in our classroom library and read it. Have fun reading.